This is the 2019 Jeep Fest Parade, live on 13 ABC. Now, here are Diane Larson and Lee Conklin.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to downtown Toledo. The weather couldn't be more perfect for this third annual Jeep Fest, and we are about to get started with the parade.
No cliche to say bigger and better, but no doubt this is the biggest and best yet as we get going with what will be a tremendous day here at Jeep Fest 2019.
We're expecting something like 60,000 people over the course of this three-day festival. Decided to have it this year because of the gladiators. So we might be seeing gladiators, and we're definitely going to hear more about how Toledo's heart is in every gladiator made later on.
No question about that. And over the course of the next hour here on 13 ABC, you'll be hearing from some special guests who have really played an integral role in what Jeep is all about here in Toledo, Northwest Ohio, for not only the last decade, but for, we can say, 4, 5, 6 decades in past years.
Absolutely. And the reason we're all here right now, we're in front of the Huntington Center, is because the huge Jeep Parade is about to get underway. They're gathering at Owens Corning, just down the street from us, and we are going to be watching over 1,200 Jeeps, expecting all different kinds of Jeeps from all over the country. And people are lining the streets downtown. It's a wonderful day in downtown Toledo.
Oh, just beautiful. You mentioned the Gladiator, celebrating the Gladiator, the great pickup truck. It was the first Jeep Fest here a couple of years ago, 75th anniversary of Jeep.
Right.
And then the next generation Wrangler, and now the Gladiator. So there's always something new that Toledo Jeep is bringing to the fore.
Yes, but something old is Doug Johnson. He's not old, but we know Doug from every single Jeep Fest parade we've done. Thank you for being with us again. This is our resident expert.
My
know
pleasure.
Everything about Jeeps. What are you looking for in this
I
parade?
think everything is a bit much, but a fair amount. Let's put it that way. But today I'm anxious to see what some of the new gladiators that you talk about. But I think what I've also seen by walking around a little bit is a lot of the older Jeeps. I mean, in beautiful condition. There's some just amazing vehicles that have been brought here from all around the country. And I think it's going to be awesome to sit here and watch them go by. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you can't have a gladiator without an axle, right?
That's right, indeed. And, when you think about axles, you think about perhaps Dana and Toledo-based, world-headquartered Dana. And we've got the president and the CEO, Jim Kansiskis, joins us now. Jim, great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me. What a great day for Toledo, Fiat Chrysler, Dana, and all the great people.
Absolutely. And Dana is an integral part of this vehicle, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you so much. This year, especially the Gladiator, but also obviously the Wranglers as well. All the axles come right here out of the Overland site that we just built, as you know, a few years ago on the 75th anniversary, as you put it. Dana goes back to the original invention of the Wrangler via the Willys vehicle, and we're still producing today for them. So we're very proud of that.
What about Dana's role in Jeep Fest this year, Jim?
Yeah, well, the most important, you're going to see them coming down. It'll be hard to find a vehicle without something Dana on it. Let's start with that.
That's a major role.
Yeah, that's a major role. But obviously, the financial contribution is one thing, but that's much less of it. It's about just getting our name out and getting people that Dana blood into how they think about a vehicle. And you see people all over just climbing under vehicles, climbing on top of vehicles, because they know somewhere maybe it was their grandfather, their grandmother, their aunt, their uncle, and there's this great history and bloodline that we're just so proud to be part of it.
And what do you think about what you've seen so far this morning downtown?
Well, I can see why Fiat Chrysler has plenty of sales coming at them from a Gladiator standpoint. It's a spectacular vehicle. I think we can all agree, right? Well, it was a courageous move, right? They had stopped producing the pickup truck for quite some time, and they made that back in Mr. Marchione's time. They made that courageous decision to do it. Fortunately for Dana, for Toledo, they were enabled us to do it with them.
Yeah, Doug, our expert, points out 1992 was the last Comanche, the Jeep Comanche to roll off the line. So it's been a bit of a dry spell, but picking it up with the Gladiator now. Talking about Dana, expanding your footprint, not only at Overland and the old Jeep Parkway site, but over in Maumee as well. You continue to expand here locally.
Yeah, but it all starts with most of us drive by there, right? People finding a better way. It's not just a cheap cliche. It's what we do, right? And what we've been doing for 115 years. It's the best part about it. But yeah, just in this region, we're about 2,200 people. We're up 75% just over the last few years. as a CEO, that's one of the biggest decisions you have to make, is where do you deploy your capital? Where do you put your money? And we decided to put a lot of it right here in Toledo because we have great people that are committed to the brand, committed to our customers, and fortunately together we're growing.
All right. Well, we know that the three Dana Jeeps are going to lead the parade vehicle, and we're going to take a look at that right now. Jim Kansiskas from Dana, thanks so much for stopping by today.
Thanks for having us.
Great Jeep Fest as
Okay,
well.
thank you.
Yes.
All right, great. And the Gladiator, we've got a Gladiator parked over here. That's
Right here.
gorgeous
Right next
vehicle.
door.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. A great placement by whoever parked it there, by the way. But yeah, as we were just discussing and talking about, I mean, the Gladiator is so awesome for Jeep. Again, it moves them into that next level, that pickup truck. I think they debuted a concept of that like in 1997,
Wow.
and everyone's been kind of waiting, so it's awesome that it's, here, and we're going to see a ton of them today.
All right,
Yep.
and I think what's coming down right now is we have the color guard.
UAW Local 12, right?
Color Guard.
No better representation than UAW Local 12 here in Toledo. And President Bruce Baumhauer, I understand, will be leading things off.
Yeah, and then the Dana, we just had Jim Kansiskas here telling us the Dana lead vehicle followed by Dana employs about 30 Jeep in all.
Wow.
John Chavez, the Blade Business Reporter, wrote an article saying something like 22% of all vehicles in Lucas County are Jeeps. So Toledo, Lucas County is a Jeep city, Jeep County.
Talk about driving this economy.
Right. No pun intended there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure not.
Yeah.
That's what we do, Doug.
That's
It's
right.
what we do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right now, we're on the corner of North Huron and where are we? What's the crossing? Jefferson and North Huron. We're right in front of Huntington Center, and that's where we are seeing the Jeep Fest Parade starting right now, led by, like you said, the Local 12 Color Guard.
How awesome.
Toledo Pride Worldwide. Again, it's not just the Jeeps that'll be in the parade. There are all kinds of historical Jeeps
Indeed.
that
Down the
FCA
street.
loaned us, at the Seagate Center.
And our Lisa Guyton standing by now. Lisa, take it away.
Well, covering the Jeep beat for so many years, this weekend always makes me smile. There is an incredible collection of Jeep history on display inside the Seagate Center. Military, fire, personal. It is just incredible to see. So I'm hoping that once everyone is done watching the parade, they will come in here and explore. One of the coolest Jeeps on display in here is the Jeep that conquered Africa, and this is the man who did it with the Jeep. You went more than 50,000 miles in 35 countries in about 1,000 days. This is Dan Greck. What an incredible story.
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be here in Toledo.
Tell me a little bit about this Jeep. It is obviously well outfitted to have made that trek, a Toledo-built Jeep.
Right, so it's a 2011 JK Rubicon, and engine-wise and drivetrain-wise, it's completely stock. But what I did do is I added all the overlanding gear. So I've added a really nice sleeping setup with the pop-up roof. It's got a fridge, dual batteries, a drinking water setup. It's got my kitchen in the back. Basically, it's a little mini house on a Jeep platform, so I can take it anywhere in the world.
What inspired you to take a trip like that?
I was sitting at a desk at work and I decided I didn't want to go to work for the rest of my life, and I didn't want to just sit at a desk. And so I wanted to go and have adventure and meet people and have new experiences.
And how did the Toledo-built Jeep handle those 54,000 miles in Africa? I know the answer, I'm sure.
It was amazing. It never broke down once. It never failed to start. And so routine maintenance and otherwise, that's it.
What are some of the things that you saw on that adventure?
Oh, I saw so many amazing things. I could talk for a week. But, elephants and giraffes and lions, of course, all the wild animals. Super friendly people and beautiful places. Mountains, rivers, lakes, waterfalls. Across the entire continent, so I kind of saw everything that the continent has to offer.
And you couldn't have done it without the men and women in Toledo who built your fantastic vehicle. What inspired you to come here and celebrate all things Jeep with us?
Oh, well, I've never been to Toledo before, and being that this is like Jeep Fantasyland, I thought I'd really come, and I mean, I love it too. And to be able to show people this is what's possible if you want to go and have a really big adventure in a Jeep, you can.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your incredible story with us and your Toledo-built Jeep. We're going to have much more from inside the Seagate Center coming up. Back to you, Lee and Diane.
All right, Lisa, thanks so much. And there are some wonderful Jeeps there, the vintage Jeeps. Gorgeous stuff.
And what a story. I mean, tens of thousands of miles across Africa and never failed to go.
Right.
That's what you love to hear.
Dana Axles.
Yeah,
That's
writing
what it
that.
was, right?
Jim
Dana
listening
Axles.
very intently to that,
there you
right?
go. Yep.
And we're going to all those axles coming down the road here, and we've got, I believe, Dana well represented here, Mr. Comiscus.
Oh yeah. It's a good thing it's on a Saturday because there'd be nobody in the office to do anything if it was another day.
You do have a bunch of employees that are riding in these Jeeps, right?
Yeah, and we were actually over at Owens Corning where we queued up this morning, and it seemed like it went for miles. It didn't, but it was just one after another. You got Jeeps anywhere from the new Gladiator with what we call our Dana 60s and Dana 80s, which is like the most severe off-road that's going to come at you here. Obviously, Dana 44 Ultimas are coming at you. I don't want to get into too much of the technical stuff, but there's no hill that can't be climbed with a Dana axle. I can tell you that much.
Now, have you been off-roading in a Jeep?
Oh, yeah, of
Yeah?
course. I mean, it's in your blood, right? I mean, it's funny. I first came to Dana 4 years ago, and I was like trying to get my head around how everybody down here, they talk about Jeeps. 6 months later, I'm buying a Jeep, right? I mean, it just comes with it, right?
You're one of the 22%.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, are these are employees, right, of Dana?
I'm not sure.
Some of them?
I'm looking.
Well, what we're
Right now,
seeing
they're climbing on top of each other. It's kind of hard to tell.
Our first foray this year into the, what do they call it? Doug, is there a name for this here? Specific name that Jeep folks call it?
There's several names. Some of them we probably shouldn't mention, but we'll just call it maybe a Jeep kiss.
Jeep love, what have you?
Yep. Keep it
Okay.
keep it PG. But yes.
Well, it's always a crowd pleaser whenever they kiss.
Yes. Yep.
So the big Dana group is coming up here after the red one, and that's your Gladiator with Dana 44 Ultimas on the front and Dana Ultima 60s on the back. So you can see it might just have some pretty big lifts on it, pretty big tires. I think those are 40-inch tires. Obviously, it's a huge hit.
And talk about Team Spicer when you mention Dana Corporation as it relates to Spicer.
Yeah, thanks for the question. You think about Spicer, that's our brand for the off-road enthusiast market. So if you were to go out and buy a Wrangler tomorrow or buy now a Gladiator tomorrow, you get great product coming off the line, but of course there's not as much volume just for off-roaders that you're going to have the high beefed up torque on the heavy axles I just referred to. So on our DanaAftermarket.com, as you can see on the hood there, any of us can go out there, go online, buy the larger axles, get the lift kits to go with it, get the larger prop shaft, and then feel free to go climb mountains in West Virginia or in Utah or whatever it is. So it's a big market out there. You'd be amazed how many people, some people maybe with their disposable income like to have a cottage or a pool or something like this. The Jeep enthusiast is the Jeep enthusiast, and that's what they do.
I'm going to buy some big tires with my disposable income.
That's
Some
right.
of them do sleep in it, so it's almost like a vacation home.
That's
Jim
right.
Kamsiskas, we thank you so
Thanks
much
again.
for being
Thanks.
with us. Thanks for Dana's contribution, and have a great day.
Thanks
have a
so
great
much.
Jeep Fest. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with more coverage of today's Jeep Fest parade right after this.
My name is Seth Metzger. I'm the Vice President of Light Vehicle Engineering here at Dana. Dana is a global automotive supplier. We've been around for around 115 years, and we provide axle and drive shaft products for any of the global vehicle manufacturers around the world. We're proud to be based here in Toledo, Ohio for over 90 years. And we're proud to say that today we provide the axles, the prop shafts for the new Jeep Wrangler, and then of course the new Gladiator, which just came out earlier this year. So being headquartered here in Toledo, Ohio, it's very important that we support the local community. Of particular interest is the Jeep Fest. I mean, many of the Dana employees are here because we're passionate about Jeeps, passionate about vehicles. It's an opportunity to get downtown, to get to see all the different Jeeps. One of the things I personally love most about the Jeep is its the ability for customization and personalization. And when you go to an event like this, you're really able to walk around and talk to people and really get their passion for that customization and making that vehicle really there. So it's a great opportunity to bring your kids downtown and get to see all things Jeep.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Jeep Fest Parade 2019. You know, in every Gladiator, there's a little bit of Toledo love involved, right?
And Taylor Langholz is here right now. Taylor, designer of the Jeep Gladiator pickup truck. Congratulations on what you've done in the vehicle and everything that is happening right here in downtown Toledo.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here. It's so exciting to see all the people in the community really come together, and of all places in Toledo. So it's really special.
Tell us about the design in the back of the pickup truck of the Gladiator.
Yeah, so I'm the fourth generation in my family to work for Jeep. So my dad worked in the plant for 30 years. His grandfather, his uncle. There's a lot of pride in my family, and obviously in Toledo for the Toledo Jeep plant. So I had to put a tribute in every single one that hits the road. There's a Heart 419 in the back, and that's really for all the men and women who are building them every single day, and all the pride they take in them. It's really special.
Well, was it an easy sell to the powers that be at Auburn Hills? Say, I want to put the area code in the bed.
There was 0 questions asked.
Great.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about this parade so far, this festival, this event?
It's so cool. It's so fun. It's so fun to see. I enjoy seeing what everyone does with their Jeeps. Like, there's so much personality. They're a canvas for people to put their own touch on them. So it's really cool for me to see how everyone, does them up for their own taste. So it's really
a designer special. Watching the designs that everybody else has.
I'm taking notes. Put it that way.
Taylor Langholz, thanks so much for stopping by today.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Congratulations on a gorgeous vehicle.
Taylor. Thank you, man.
All right, wonderful job. Again, we're with Doug Johnson too, who's coming to us with all of his Jeep knowledge. And that Gladiator you mentioned, that's the first time since '92 that we've had a pickup truck.
Right. Again, my shirt. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Not one in my driveway yet, but coming soon. Again, as we talked earlier, the number of Gladiators here is just, you think about the vehicle hasn't been for sale for that terribly long. I think maybe a third of them that are built are here. Really, there's so many of them here. So it's amazing to see them all. I will say that whoever designed Jeep horns did a great job. We can tell that from our spot on the parade here. But yeah, no, it's again amazingly exciting to see that. And as we saw earlier, also some of the old Gladiators and some of the hard work that people put into that, or those vehicles and brought them here and, to make them look as they did when they were brand new.
Amazing. Have you seen anything that you haven't seen before today? I know you got here last night. You were walking around. Seen anything that really caught your eye?
I have not yet, admittedly, but I haven't got a huge chance to walk around. I was up early, setting up a couple booths, getting ready for the day, making sure I had all my knowledge. So, I have not got a chance to walk around. I did, though, catch a Barbie Jeep with crazy pink, and definitely, as Taylor pointed out, they're definitely a canvas.
Hey, look who's rolling down the street here. You see the Grand Marshal of the parade, Denny Amrine from Groganstown right now, with his family in tow as well, in that bed of that beautiful Gladiator.
That's right. He's been a big part of this Jeep Festival from the get-go too, and makes a wonderful Grand Marshal. Christian Brown standing by street level with more. Christian.
I'm right in the middle of all the action. You can see all of the Jeeps and all of the people who got up very early this morning to make sure they could get a front row seat to all the action, and this gentleman caught my eye. What's your name?
Donald Holden.
Tell me why you got up this morning to make sure that you could get this really good seat. You got a great seat.
Yes, I work at Jeep, and I wanted to come down and be first out here to look at this.
Okay, so tell me, what's impressed you the most? I saw you at one point stand and you took your hat off and you put it over your heart.
The American flag and the veterans. It means a lot. Very lot. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Does it bring you great pride to see all of this and to be a part of it?
Yes, it does. I worked for Jeep for 43 years, and I'm still working, and I build the best Jeeps of the world. We do build the best, and I'm proud and speak for everybody. We are proud in Toledo for Jeep.
Amen to that. Thank you so much. So much pride goes into something like this, to see these Jeeps, to be out here, to know that Toledo is a part of this, to know that people from all across the country are here to take part in this weekend. So a lot of pride here, a lot of great people. As you can see, everyone has their phones out, taking video. Just love being a part. And there's former Mayor Paula Hicks Hudson. That's right. So much pride here. Back to you.
All right, Christian, thanks very much. And we heard from that that fellow who got choked up talking about the veterans. We should mention that Tiffany Eckert was the Folds of Honor special guest. Many folks may remember that her husband, Andy Eckert, was a Purple Heart veteran who died for our country May 8th, 2005. So a lot of military and veteran pride in this vehicle as well.
Yeah, a lot of emotion on this day.
No doubt about it. Yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, Jeep has been such an integral part for the military, obviously. And what amazes me about, as we sit here and look at all these people, everyone has got Jeep somewhere. The Jeep hat, Jeep shirt, Jeep something. And I don't know if there's any other brand you could say, hey, I went to this brand meeting and I saw all these people like wearing shirts, and it's just amazing the pride that the people have, and then as that gentleman pointed out, the pride that the people that build the vehicles have too.
Absolutely.
Proud of what they do.
Right.
Heart and soul.
You know, another sign that you see a lot of around town is ProMedica.
Yeah, you see a few of those, especially downtown Toledo. We've got the president and CEO of ProMedica Health System. It is Randy Oster. And Randy, congratulations on another Jeep Fest where ProMedica is a sponsor. You've been here since the start. Why is it so important that ProMedica is intertwined with what this event is all about?
Well, I think you've already been talking about it this morning. It's just a great day for downtown Toledo, but it's just a great day for the region. I was with a mayor of one of our outlying communities this last week, and he said, how great these things are for them, and that when Toledo does well, everybody does well. So, you think about telling the Toledo story. This puts our story on a much larger scale. Celebrate a lot of great things going on that's been happening, and the next 5 years look better than the past 5 years. So we're very excited. And this is just another great way to celebrate what's great about Toledo.
Yeah, and the weather couldn't be better. I mean, you've been involved with all three. This is the third one. This one, I think, is the best so far, right?
Chamber of Commerce Day, as we like to say. It's like every day like this is in Toledo, right? This is what every day is like. So
and
we'll
you
take
had it last night, too, for Dennis DeYoung, right?
Yes.
Another huge crowd. And I think the anticipation from Cindy Kerr Downtown Development and Corporation is like over 100,000 people expected to come down here this weekend.
Right, and the concerts, we're expecting about 100,000 for the year as well. So, I think these things build. I think the first year, even with the concerts, it was a little slow, and last year we tipped about 60, 70,000. This year will be 100, and we keep building. I think people need to learn to come back downtown, and I think we're seeing that. You get 100,000 people here. We'd love to see this be an annual event. The people who put it on, it's a lot of work, but it would be great. It's a great celebration, and it's great for everybody. I mean, it's great to celebrate Toledo. You think about all the restaurants and shops, everything downtown. This is how we build communities. So these kind of events are critical.
Yeah, well, it's a great way to celebrate Toledo, to celebrate Jeep. It's a wonderful economic shot in the arm for Toledo, and thanks to ProMedica for once again being part of such a big, important event for our community.
Great. Look forward to next year as well.
Thanks, okay.
President and CEO Randy Ostra.
Randy, thanks so much for being here today. Thank you. Well, Doug Johnson, it's been, I've seen Jeep after Jeep out of the corner of my eye that they seem different than we've seen in years past. I mean, it's like I can't believe the amount of ingenuity that comes from people who can modify their Jeeps.
I totally agree. And obviously, as Jeeps go by, and there's one that just went by kind of near and dear to my own heart, which would be the one my kids were riding in.
Oh, no!
Yes.
The Johnson Mobile.
That's right, that's right. So at the Johnson household, we have 4 Jeeps. And we have a 2018 Wrangler, a JL Wrangler. We have almost 40,000 miles on it. It's seen both oceans. And it just rolled by with a friend of mine piloting it with my 2 kids in tow.
Hopefully some land in between.
Oh, there's money, too. So that's where the big church. Interestingly, the Mud Hens playing tonight. They're going to be the Mud Crawlers for one day in honor of the Glass City Crawlers.
Right. Special jerseys all weekend.
Wow.
There's actually a bobblehead for the first, I think it's 1,500 people through the door. They get a Muddy bobblehead. Muddy's in a gladiator.
And that's going to be collectible someday.
Very much.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
We're going to continue our live coverage on 13 ABC of Toledo Jeep Fest 2019. Take a quick break and be right back in downtown Toledo. Stay with us.
Welcome back, everybody. Our coverage of the 2019 Jeep Fest Parade continues right here on 13 ABC, one of the proud media sponsors of this event. And we heard Randy Ostra talking about 100,000 people expected, keeps getting busy or bigger and bigger every single year. Something like 40,000 first year, 60,000 second year. Now we're guessing 100,000. and maybe 100,001 with the gentleman sitting right next to us.
Right, he is the man of the hour. You know, he was just standing on one of those Jeeps, hopped off, nimble as ever. The Grand Marshal of the parade from Groganstown, it's Denny Amrine. Denny, great to see you again.
Great seeing you
Congratulations.
guys. It's absolutely a great time down here. This is probably the biggest event that Toledo has every year now that they've started it. And I'm just proud to be part of it. It's you know, Jeep is Toledo. Toledo's Jeep. Call it whichever way you want. And it's just amazing to see all these cars, these Jeeps, not cars, from all over the United States, and some of them from even outside the country that are here today. So it's just phenomenal. It's great for Toledo. It's great for everybody that's in this area.
Why do you think it is? And I always ask everybody this, and they all give me an answer, but why is it that this community loves Jeep so much, and why do people who have Jeeps across the country love Jeep so much?
I really think that it's just basically because it started so long ago, was done for, you know, for the war, and people just got used to having something that was completely different. And, you know, Jeep has come a long ways from back then. The vehicles today are super great. They ride, they handle, they're quiet. And the new Gladiator is just an amazing truck.
Yeah. Have you driven a Gladiator?
Yes.
Yeah?
I drive everything when it comes.
Tell us about it. What's so great about it?
Well, it's just like a Wrangler, except you got a bed to put stuff in. Which, you know, when you're in a Wrangler, there's no room if you got 4 people. Now you got, especially for the people that are out in the sands and in the mountains, they can carry a lot of stuff with them, where before they'd have to bring another vehicle or something.
Right, and you can just drive around the streets and look cool too. So people want to do that.
Right.
What happens when somebody comes into the showroom and they want a Jeep? It's a done deal almost. There's not much selling that has to take place, is there?
Oh yeah, you still got to sell the car.
Okay,
I mean,
but they know what they're looking for, right?
Right. About 70% of the people that come in, they do all their negotiating and pretty much everything on the internet.
Yeah, online.
I knew I could come.
They're going
I knew
online,
I could come. It would be on the internet. So when they come in, it's usually a real short. They come in, they take it for a test drive, they come back. We've already negotiated the price. The car is there. They take it home. Usually,
boom,
45 minutes.
Boom. And if you want to walk in and buy a Gladiator, do you have it in stock?
Oh, yeah. We've got about 6, 7 of them right now.
All
First
right.
time we've had some inventory.
Yay. All right.
Yep.
Denny Amrine, thanks again for being such a big part of this festival, and thanks for stopping by and giving us some time today, too.
Thank you for everything you guys do.
You bet.
Appreciate
it.
And
the Grand Marshal of the 2019 Jeep Fest. Thanks, Denny. Thank you.
Absolutely. So this parade is continuing, and it is about 1,200 strong, we heard. That was a rough estimate.
Sure. Might be some more. Who knows? Right? Hey, Lisa Guyton, who knows Jeeps better than most in this town.
Absolutely.
Standing by down the street at the Seagate Center right now and has more in this live report. Lisa, take it away.
Well, good morning, Lee and Diane. And there is a lot of history under one roof here at the Seagate Center right now. An incredible collection of Jeeps, some amazing stories, some amazing people stories as well. I'm joined by a man who I have dubbed the king of the Wagoneers. His name is Jeff Nelson, and you have quite a collection.
Yes, I have 7 Wagoneers, 3 of which are here, and then the world's largest collection of dealer ads and brochures and car reviews and things like that, and Tonka Wagoneers and all sorts of things.
You're all in when it comes to the Wagoneer, and of course the Wagoneer went away for a number of years. It's coming back. You've got to be excited. But you really are so into the Wagoneer. This is an amazing story that you moved to Toledo.
Yeah, I moved to Toledo for 2 reasons: to buy a big Victorian house in the Old West End, and because I'm so obsessed with the Jeep Wagoneer.
And the home in the Old West End allows you to keep all of your Wagoneer memorabilia and probably park a few of them too.
Yes, although it's filling up rapidly.
What is your favorite thing? What is it about the Wagoneer? I mean, that is devotion to move to the city where it was built.
Well, to me, it's just the perfect combination of station wagon and truck, and I just love its rugged simplicity and the fact that it reminded me of Tonka toys. And in fact, over there I have a whole display case full of Tonka Wagoneers, So I think they're popular for the same reason as Tonka toys. Just they can take a beating and they still keep working, and they're just bare bones and basic. Most people would know them now as the Grand Wagoneer with the fake wood grain on the side, whereas I prefer the ones before that did not have the fake wood grain, but they're all beautiful.
And you wanted to share your love of the Wagoneer with everyone. I mean, talk about what inspired you to come down here, because you could, this is a lot of work, but you want people to see them.
Yes, this is an awful lot of work. I designed a double-sided aluminum frame and had them welded up. It cost about $30,000 just to display the collection of literature, and hopefully it'll be part of the Jeep Museum someday. I want it to go somewhere where it'll be appreciated, and So I'm a graphic designer, and so one of the things I love is seeing the same vehicle advertised, because all they did was change some headlights and stuff from 1963 to 1991, and so it's amazing to see the same vehicle advertised all through the 60s, all through the 70s, all through the 80s, and just see the changing way they advertised it. Originally it was aimed at doctors and lawyers, doctors and sportsmen and stuff like that. And later, by the end, it was very much a preppy vehicle for the country club set. And
well, we appreciate you sharing your love of the Wagoneer. It is one of my favorite all-time models as well. I think it's spectacular, and you really ought to be in a Chamber of Commerce ad for the city of Toledo, because you moved here for the Old West End and for Jeep. I think it's a great story. Quiet in here right now, but it's going to get crowded as soon as the parade ends. But come in here and see this, because it really is a remarkable collection of everything Jeep. Back to you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Lisa. Appreciate it. Bring it back here to Parade Central, if you will, where the throngs of Jeeps just keep on rolling by here. And for a lot of people here, or most people here, Jeep can be personal. And for our next guest, Lucas County Commissioner Pete Gerken, it's personal too. Pete, congratulations. You got a postcard here for Lucas County.
Well, this is just a great day. You couldn't draw it up any better than this. The weather, the response. Our third year, I think we're really getting the feel of it, and people are responding just the way we hope. It's easy to respond to Jeeps if you live in Toledo or anywhere in the country.
Now, you're not just the county commissioner.
Right.
You are a longtime Jeeper.
Right. As Bruce Bauer would say, we speak Jeepanese after 30 years in the plant. So it's a great trip down memory lane for me. I see some of the cars that came by me as a young man. I'm still out there in the field. So it's just a day that I think Toledo never will forget since we started it. And I saw Jeeps in the parking lot at the zoo, Utah, Texas, California. They either drove them in or trailered them in, and they were just having a ball.
Yeah.
Well, tell us your personal history with Jeep, though.
Well, I started in 1976. Somebody said, go to the employment office, say this guy's name, and get a time card and go to work. And the first thing I did was put fenders on the big Jeep Wagoneers my first day. Pick this fender up, take 16 bolts, and bolt it on, and do it 200 more times that day. So it was a great living. It provided me with everything I needed in life, as it does for thousands of people here, an income and a culture. You became part of a family. Right. When you worked at the Jeep, you were part of a family. It wasn't just punch your card, come in and go home. You knew everybody's birthday. You ran into people from every country in the world. You learned other languages, other foods, other friendships. It's indescribable.
Yeah, and Doug mentioned this. There are other great vehicles made by other companies, but there's something special about the bond between this community, and what the Jeep is all about. Why do you think that is?
Well, because it started here in 1941, and it started around supporting our troops in a war, in the Great War. When you start with the basis of that as a community, that's something you're never going to break. And I think the other part of this, it handed it down from grandfathers to sons to neighbors. Everybody at some point wanted a chance to work at the Jeep. And when you got there, it was a pride. You know your car's going all over the world. It's just not going to Michigan or Pennsylvania. Your car's going to go to India or Africa or Mexico. You want to have some pride in it.
Now we're sort of growing pains still. We had it the first year in 2016 to celebrate the 75th anniversary. Yep. Had it last year, and then this year they decided, we've got the Gladiator, might as well do it again. Can we anticipate maybe this will be an annual event?
I don't see how you stop this thing now. I mean, it's like Jeep when it starts rolling down a hill or up a hill. You're not going to quit. Right. We're Jeepsters. We're not going to quit. everybody's having fun. Why stop now, right?
Yeah, and we've seen the growth now in this parade itself from the other two that we've had.
Yeah.
People are 5, 10 deep here now on this route.
Well, it's telling me that, and they're not just Toledoans. People are coming from all over the place to do it. This thing, it's a lifestyle vehicle. It's not just something you drive for 3 years and get something else generally. You see the Glass City Crawlers have taken it into another level, and they're here. They're from here.
Yeah.
So people model our behavior across the world. People have told me that there's 2 words everybody knows in English around the world: Coke and Jeep. And I think it's Jeep and Coke.
There you go.
So we're the home of it. We will always be the home of it. And we have, I've worked for the French, the Germans, and Daimler Chrysler. One thing you can never do is move this out of this town. I don't care who the owner is. They'll never get a better workforce.
Hey, congratulations on this event.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank
Lucas
you.
County Commissioner Pete Kirkin. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank
you. Well, Doug Johnson, we had a big round of applause behind us.
Yes,
what
we
was going
did.
On there?
So it was a mini Jeep kiss. There was a little remote control Jeep that had gone up and kissed another Jeep. It was fantastic. We were talking about personalization, and I was sitting here a moment ago watching the Jeeps go by. No two are alike. I mean, just hands down, no two are alike. Everyone has a name on the hood. I saw Sapphire. I saw Jeep Woohoo. I mean, there's just one name after the next. Tonka Jeep, Tonka Toy. It's just amazing how people go and personalize and make it their own. And and again, that's the business I'm in personally when I'm not here with you two. So we're very proud too to be partnered with FCA on some programs with the Jeep brand and Mopar accessories. But it's amazing when we start looking at some of our own sales, how interesting it becomes with personalization on our Jeep interiors. So again, it just speaks to the whole brand and what they do and all that other other things that go along with just Jeep.
And it's the largest. It has the largest aftermarket of any vehicle in the world. Is that right?
I think there's a couple of vehicles that go neck and neck with the Jeep, but it's definitely in the top 3.
Competition's good.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
right.
Definitely in the top 3. I mean, there was a number published a couple years ago by it's an organization called SEMA, which is the aftermarket kind of body, shall we say, and I think they were at over $1,000 a vehicle. Jeep vehicle is spent after the fact on aftermarket or some kind of accessory, not always aftermarket. But yeah.
Doug, I would like to ask you, what's the one thing you think people want when they buy the stock vehicle? What's the first thing that someone might do? Is there would they go to the tires? They want the bigger tires? I mean, or does it just vary? It runs the gamut.
It's a very tough question for me to answer because I'm in the leather interior business. So leather interior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
Gotcha.
I think really most people start on the outside of their vehicle.
Okay.
They really, truly do. So wheels, tires. If there's not something that's a necessity, like maybe some rock rails or some side steps, that may be a necessity. Hey, look, we need to put side steps on it to help get into the vehicle. But I think most people start on the outside and work to the inside. Okay. Unfortunately for me, but some people start on the inside. But yeah.
I talked to Blade reporter Nikki Gorney, who did a story on how the Glass City Crawlers have a ladies' night and a ladies' group, and a number of women now are handling modifications of their own Jeep because they say it's the easiest vehicle to modify. Why is that?
I think it's because there's just so many things out there. I mean, you go to Google and you type in Jeep accessories, and there's so many things that come up, and again, it's just all the options. I mean, let's face it, we've all probably gone to YouTube at one time or another, and there's ways that show you how to put it on. I mean, again, because there's so many Jeeps out there, so many accessories available. Not to mention, there's some companies out there that make some great stuff for the Jeep, So.
Well, and as you speak about that, as the Jeeps roll down here on Huron and the parade route over here on St. Clair, it's accessory row here. There's everything you could ever imagine that you could put on a Jeep.
There is, yes. Again, I will be there the rest of the day myself, but just walking through this morning as I was getting ready, again, you name it, you can buy it. I mean, really, from something very simple as an applique to something huge like a lift kit or tires and wheels. So.
It is. It's like it's an outdoor market. It's like an outdoor shopping mall here downtown in Toledo. And also, there's all kinds of music going on at Levis Commons all day long as well. And then the Mud Hens play tonight. There's a run tomorrow. So much to do.
All going on. But right now we want to head back on the street where Christian Brown's standing by on that parade route.
Well, you've heard the saying, it's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand. All these people do. They understand. What does your shirt say?
Jeep Girls Rock.
Jeep Girls Rock. And then just in case you didn't know, now you know. Tell me, what's your name?
Rhonda.
Rhonda, what brought you out here this morning?
Well, I think this is a great thing for the city of Toledo. Jeep originated here, and all my family, my grandsons are in here riding with my nephew, and it's just a very good, eventful day for the city.
You feel like it's a part of history, and don't you just love that trick right there?
Most definitely. The things that they can do with the Jeeps and take them off-road, on the road, it's amazing.
All right, so what's your name?
Haley.
Haley, okay, how old are you?
10.
Okay, so you've got like 5 or 6 years before you get a car. What do you think about a Jeep?
I think I'm going to get a Jeep because my mom, she works at Jeep.
Right, so you get that, is there a discount or something? I'm sure they got a discount for you.
Yes. I don't know.
Mama, work it out. All right, so we're having fun with all the people here in the crowd who love Jeep, who feel that sense of pride about being out here for Jeep Fest. We'll send it back to you. All right, KB, thanks so much. And some of them are going a little fast, but they break pretty quick. So.
Yes. And we have police officers here as well, riding around on their bicycles, keeping everything in check.
Is there a Jeep bicycle by any chance?
I don't believe
maybe a sticker.
I don't believe
maybe a
made by
decal.
Jeep, but my son actually has a bicycle that must be licensed by Jeep. It's the Jeep Wrangler bike, just a name, but yes.
See,
and we got a little mud on the tires.
It wasn't such a dumb
on
question after all,
yep.
right?
Yep.
Right.
You know,
and it's interesting that a number of businesses are changing their business practice just for the weekend. Like, for example, Holy Toledo, the donut from heaven, are making a cruller and coating it with chocolate to make it look like a Jeep tire.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's one thing about the parade. This is being a Jeep parade. It's kind of come as you are. Most parades, everything's shined and pretty. You see some vehicles here, dirt, mud, grass stains on the side. And I think that's amazing. It's, again, a tribute to the vehicle, how people like, hey, I'm going to bring it as it is.
Isn't there a saying about the mud?
It's like a badge of honor.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Plenty of those badges out here today.
There are.
Yeah.
And, I mentioned before that, personally we have a Jeep Wrangler, and we've put a lot of miles on it over the last year. It's amazing. You'll stop at a gas station, and someone will see you with a Jeep, a fellow Jeep owner, and they'll come over. You could be in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they'll come over, hey, I was noticing on your Jeep you have this, that, or the other thing. Where did you get that? How did you buy it? Again, there's going to be a lot of that going on today. I think as people walk the show and look at other vehicles, I mean, just one, again, as we talked about before, no two are alike. One after the next is different.
Well, it is a conversation piece.
The Jeep Wave, that's the whole steering wheel and the, or out the window, one of the two. Yeah. Yep. And again, it's almost like a brotherhood, right? I'm a fellow Jeep owner.
And a sisterhood.
And a sisterhood.
All right, Lee.
That's right. Good job. Yes, back to talking about the vendor row over there. Years past, that would have been called the Man Mall, but that has definitely been shed. It is not the Man Mall anymore. Yes, so yes, definitely been shed.
All right. We continue our coverage of the 2019 Jeep Fest Parade for this year's edition of Jeep Fest. Taking a quick break. Back with more after this. We are covering the Jeep Fest Parade here in downtown Toledo. We are parked right outside the Huntington Center, and the parade route is right behind us. It is lined maybe 6-7 people deep all along the street. It's a wonderful turnout here in downtown Toledo today.
We've had a lot of special guests in here, and Doug talks about the accessories that everybody loves to put on their Jeeps, and we have somebody who might be able to speak to that a bit. Ryan Michael is from Omix ADA, the world's largest independent manufacturer and wholesaler. So Ryan, thanks for being here.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So what do you make?
Yeah, well, tell us your story.
Everything.
So we make everything from 1941 to present. We make replacement parts. We make accessories. You can build a Jeep from our factory from 1941 to 1995 with a body tub, axles, seats, anything like that. We also make all the aftermarket bumpers, tube doors, wheels, any of that kind of stuff.
Well, you're in the right place this weekend,
yes,
though.
Sir. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun up here. It's great.
Is there a part of the country that's more popular for Jeeps than others that you've seen where more orders come from?
So, as you guys were kind of talking to earlier, it's kind of a community. So there's a very large group of people all over the United States that do it. I would say the mecca of off-roading and stuff would probably be out Colorado and Utah area. That's kind of known as the place to go. If you haven't ever been, then you need to go if you own a Jeep. It's kind of a pilgrimage kind of thing. So,
is there one part that's more popular than another, or like what's your best-selling part?
We probably sell more bumpers than anything else, like the aftermarket bumpers, front rear bumpers. That's probably our best seller.
Is this your first stop in Toledo for Jeep Fest, or have you been here for all three?
This is my first one, but as a company, we have been here since the beginning. Yes.
And what would you say about it?
I think it's amazing. I love the city. I love the amount of people, the amount of camaraderie there is. Even I've had countless conversations with people that don't even own Jeeps, but just are familiar with the brand, obviously, because it's the home of the Jeep. It's home of the Gladiator now. And it's amazing. The people are amazing, and everything is just great. Great food.
It's a great vibe,
amazing food.
And we made the weather just nice for you. Where are you located?
We're just outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
So, yes, it's much nicer up here because it's not nearly as humid.
There you go. Perfect weather. So another reason to come live in Toledo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Contributing to what is Jeep in Toledo. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
That's Ryan Michael.
All right. So bumpers are, he's saying, that's the number one thing that they sell.
When you're off-road, every once in a while, you might need a new one. Yeah, you never know.
And
you
the
never know
little
how that
kisses
happens.
maybe every now and then.
Yeah, or, if you're like me, you just roll with it and be like, look, I did this one in Utah. I was at Moab. I did this one when I was in Colorado. And you show them off, right?
Or you can go up to the Low Payment King. I think there's an off-roading course in Monroe Dodge, the Chrysler Superstore, that our employees did the off-roading test in our Jeep Liberty yesterday.
Awesome. How amazing
and it survived. It was trail-rated, survived.
No new bumpers needed?
No.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
The people who did it were a little bit banged up. So they may need a new bumper.
A little nervous when they got out.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Our Rachel Schneider and our web producer, Trisha Ennis, were in tow, and they were having it was almost like a Cedar Point adventure for them.
Awesome. That's amazing.
So where's
That's
the most
amazing.
intense place you've been off-roading?
My bar none favorite place to go is Moab, Utah. It's just absolutely beautiful. I'm fortunate enough to get to go there on a fairly regular basis. I'll be there in October. Will be the 4th time this year I think I've gone.
Oh.
So I love it there. It's just it's challenging enough that it makes you work. It's easy enough that you don't get out of your Jeep and you're a nervous wreck. And the scenery is just amazing. It really is. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful places I've gone in a Jeep, but that is one of my favorite. Quite honestly, even in the East Coast or eastern part of the United States, there's some amazing places to go to. A couple years ago, I was up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Liked it so much that when my wife and I decided to get married, we kind of had a Jeepish wedding, a little Jeepish.
Wow.
I think my whole wedding party made it.
You're saying Jeepish, not cheapish.
Jeepish, yes. I believe my whole wedding party made it back about 10 minutes off the trail in time for my wedding. So, yeah.
In the UP?
In the UP, yes.
Oh, Uper wedding.
Yes. Little Drummond Island. It was beautiful. Great weather, but just like today, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, how did the parade committee or the committee, Jeep Fest committee, order up the weather? I don't know.
Perfect.
Yep.
But there's a lot of stuff actually inside the Seagate Center, right?
There is.
Yeah, let's head back. We're going to take it back inside. All this history of the Jeep down there with our Lisa Guyton standing by. Lisa.
Well, good morning. And we've shown you a lot of civilian Jeeps throughout the morning. Now we're showing you some of the incredible military Jeeps that are on display here. And I'm joined by Ron Vukotic, who is one of the people who painstakingly restored this 1945 Toledo-built Army Jeep. Ron, tell me the story of her.
Well, we found it down in Dayton, Ohio, and it was painted pink when we got it. And it took about 5 years to restore it with the help of everything from Toledo Edison, used some of their equipment, to Anderson's Fab Shop that sandblasted it before we started putting it together. So it was a group help, neighbors helped me do the welding, a little bit of paint work and everything else, but it took about 5 years to get the whole thing finished.
What inspired you to do that? Certainly a big commitment, a labor of love, but what a beautiful ending to this story for this Jeep, because it certainly looks a lot different than it did when you found it.
I always wanted an old Jeep, even though I never worked for Jeep, but just a little toy for me to play with, and got the kids just about through college, and the wife says, well, go find one. So we were just driving down the street in Dayton, Ohio one day, and there it was, and rest is history. Now it's here.
1945 model, but it still runs well, and I hear that you tool around town in it.
Oh yeah, we take it out all over the city if we have to, just in the summer. I'm a wimp, don't like cold weather anymore, and VFW posts call and we use it in their parades to handle some of the veterans that can't walk anymore.
Well, how lucky the Jeep brand is that people like you find these old beauties and bring them back to their former glory. There are a lot of them on display here, new, old, everything in between. Come on in. As soon as the parade's over, it's going to get a lot more crowded in here. People are starting to come in right now. So a lot to see here in the Seagate Center. Back to you, Lee and Diane.
All right, Lisa, thanks very much. And we mentioned that Toledo Police well represented on the street, but also right here too, right?
That's right. Toledo Police Chief George Kroll stopped by, and you've been here. We've seen you here all morning. What do you think so far?
This is fantastic. I've been looking forward to this all year. There's just no place I'd rather be right now than downtown. This is fantastic when we see this amount of people downtown. The weather's perfect. We have all these Jeeps. This is really good for Toledo.
Yeah. And we have seen a nice police presence too. You've made sure that not only are we having a good time, but we're having a safe time as well.
Yes, after what happened last weekend, we decided I basically doubled what was down here, and there's more that you don't see than you do. So we want to make sure that everybody feels safe, that they enjoy their day, and we do our job helping keeping everybody happy.
When we talk about that, last night you had the concert. You've got a big day today, and the weekend continues tomorrow. So that's a lot going into to safeguard this downtown area and the entire city, right? You got to account for every place.
Yeah, we can't just forget about the rest of the city. So we have that going on. And with Mud Hens last night and tonight, the concerts, all weekend. We have our hands full this weekend, but we got it under control.
It's a beautiful weekend for it. It's just a great event. Have you seen any Jeeps that you want or on your wish list?
Actually, one of these is going to be my retirement present to myself.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
You convinced yourself that it'd be okay.
Yeah, my wife said it's okay.
Good. All right. Police Chief George Kroll.
Good to see the chief in shorts, right? Yeah. It's tough to see you at the desk here, but relaxed on a beautiful day. Thanks,
Trying
Chief.
to be, yes.
We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay.
All right, Chief. Thanks very much. And Doug Johnson, the Jeeps. The hits keep coming.
They do. I was kind of counting. I think I'm a little fuzzy, but I think I'm up to around 100 Gladiators so far.
Wow.
I was amazed. I mean, again, I knew we would see a lot here, but of the new Gladiators, I lost count somewhere just north of 100. So that's amazing.
Well, we heard Denny Emrine say that they've got about 7 on the lot. He said now that if you want a Gladiator, you can actually come in and get one.
That's good. And as I travel across the country, one of the things I do is always kind of look for the local Jeep dealership and drive by, and you're starting to see them out there, which is good. So the folks that do want one can find one and pick one up and. I'm like it's a gallon of milk, right? You just that easy? No, but totally understand that any car is a major investment, but when it's a Jeep, it's more, in my opinion, it's more of a lifestyle and an investment, right? And I think that if the Jeep marketing people were here right now, they would tout their resale value, but we won't go down that path. But one of the things listening to the chief talk too is I think it's just absolutely amazing how this city comes together and works for this event. I mean, from the people working in the hotels last night, overly friendly, thank you for being here, to my cup of coffee this morning, the lady with a smile at 6:10 this morning going, I think it's amazing. And the other part of that I think that is so amazing is all the hardworking people that are behind the scenes, not only for the event, but the Jeep brand in particular. I just got a text from a friend of mine who works here in Toledo and says, hey, I'm watching you on TV, but what a great event. And it's one of those things that she's like, this city comes together to embrace Jeep, embrace the brand, and it's all paying off today.
All right, well, let's embrace the brand out on the parade route right now. Our Christian Brown standing by with board. KB.
Well, this is Toledo in all its glory. Joining me now is Cindy Kerr. Tell me a little bit about what this means for downtown Toledo to have this wonderful parade and this wonderful Jeep Fest.
It's huge for us. So here in downtown Toledo, we expect over the weekend 100,000 people down here. Jeep Fest is a huge contributor for that, 60,000 last year. We'll come up with final numbers, but pack this on top of a Mud Hens games. The Art Museum is doing all sorts of things this weekend. Polyball is over at International Park. We're packed.
Well, there you go. It's a wonderful time to be in downtown Toledo, to be a Toledoan, to have love for Jeep Fest. Look at those antlers. So cute. Hi. We'll send it back to you.
All right, KB, thanks so much. 100,000 people now expected. I guess that would classify this as the biggest event in Toledo.
Yeah, and indeed a family affair. So many kids riding with their parents. We hope they're parents.
Then friends of parents.
Friends of parents.
Yes.
Their friends of parents. So, I mean, so many smiling faces out here and so much pride and so much enjoyment as they roll down the street here on North Huron.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And again, we talk about the Jeeps. What I love about this event, too, is the depth of the Jeep brand you see. You see from CJ3s through, like we talked about, Gladiators that probably rolled off the assembly line less than a month ago, right? Or maybe even less than a week ago. This is Toledo. They get here pretty fast, right? But some of the, the old, what they call senior Jeeps, which is the Grand Wagoneer and the old full-size pickup trucks. It's amazing to see those. Some of them in beautiful condition.
I saw some wood grain.
Yes, I did
a few
too.
minutes ago.
I did too. Yes, I did too. Yep. And the other thing that I also like about this event is there's Cherokees, Grand Cherokees. Obviously, the Cherokee has a rich history here in Toledo, also being made here for so many years. It seems like the whole Jeep community, they just come together. It's not just Wranglers or CJs or whatever. It's Jeep. It's just the common bond. And we've talked about that quite a bit, but I just absolutely love how everyone kind of, hey, we're all coming together. We're going to go to Toledo. We're going to bring 100,000 of our friends. We're going to hang out and look at Jeeps. So, yeah.
It is a wonderful community, and it's a lovely sense of community here in downtown Toledo today. Everybody's happy, everybody's smiling. When we do the news, sometimes we do bad news. This is one of the great pleasures of our job to be a part of this.
Yeah, and you come down every year from Clarkston, Michigan, your home base, Doug Johnson, to give us that expertise that only you can give us here. We really appreciate it.
I think you're far too kind, but I love being here. I love seeing everything. I love seeing the Jeeps. And more than anything, like you pointed out, Diane, it's the smiles. Everyone's just, hey, look, this is awesome. Everyone's smiling. They're having a good time. And, hey, what more is there, right? So,
happiness makes us all happy, right?
Yes.
Indeed it does.
It's contagious, too.
We're proud that we have been able to bring you this parade every year, or for the third consecutive year here on 13 ABC.
That's right, and we have so many people who work so hard behind the scenes to put this all together, so many thanks to them. And again, Doug Johnson, thank you for coming down here. Enjoy your stay. Hope you sell some leather seat covers.
Right.
I think you'll probably sell a few, right?
Maybe one or two.
All right.
Yeah, indeed. It's Accessory Row. Check it out over on St. Clair. Thanks to everybody who's been part of this broadcast, and thanks to you for watching.
I'm
for all
Diane
of us
Larson,
here at 13
Lee
ABC.
Conklin, Doug Johnson.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you all so much for being with us today. Watch tonight at 6 for the very latest.